In this world, there are good guys and there are bad guys. And I will not be bullied into submission.
You're reading the man's part.
Oh, God.
Would you like to start over?
Yes, I would.
I will not be bullied into submission.
Sorry to interrupt. Your wife is online, too? I'm interested in real parts. Got $83 in my bank account, and I don't know if I can pay my gas bill.
Ruth, there's an audition. They're looking for unconventional women, whatever that means.
Hello, ladies. I'm Sam Sylvia, and this is Glow.
Sorry, what's Glow?
Gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Are you hiring actors to play wrestlers, or are we the wrestlers?
Go! Yes. Christ. Fucking actresses. Okay, I want you to meet the star of Glow, Debbie Egan.
Are you insane? Why is she here?
She's the alpha and you're the omega. Submit. She might kill you.
This is Sebastian Howard, our producer.
This is my first Hollywood party.
There are drugs in the fucking robot.
Thank you.
Wrestling is about type. You're a sexy party girl. You're an Arab.
You mean stereotype?
Yes, bingo, exactly. You're a big black girl.
The fuck you say?
Lady wrestlers. I get it. Women can do anything men do, blah, blah, blah.
How'd that look?
I got chills. Yeah, you would.
We're empowered. We're the heroes.
You want the show to happen.
This is the only place I get to do what I want to do.
People respect me here.
We gotta shoot this thing in like 5 weeks. This could either feel dinky or it could feel epic. So let's give them what?
Blood.
Tits!
Storytelling. Storytelling.
This is about justice. This is about holding on to what's ours.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the gorgeous ladies of wrestling!
I don't know why I'm whooping.
For Glow. Oh my God. Can I tell, before we get started, can I tell a brief story about me and Glow?
Yes.
Yesterday, I was in the middle of moving. I'm moving my apartments for really 5
so
blocks.
sorry.
5 block radius, it's not that bad. In the middle of moving, I knew I had to watch an episode of this for this interview. I watched 1 episode, I stopped moving, and I watched the rest of the show.
No.
I watched all 10 episodes yesterday. The show is unbelievably good. I can't say that enough. It's so much fun. It's so smart. It's not pretentious about how smart it is. It's just incredibly entertaining and well told. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And I posted on Twitter that I was interviewing today, and a friend of mine who's a TV critic said, "Oh, you're interviewing my favorite character."
No.
Yeah. So you got a lot of fans out there already.
I don't know. I think it's kind of freaky, the whole thing.
I think this show is going to be like a phenomenon.
Well, look what I'm wearing.
Talk about your character. Why is she wearing that?
Well, my character's name is Sheila the She Wolf, and she identifies as a wolf. That's real. It's a real thing. It's species dysmorphia. It's very real. And she identifies as a wolf.
Laughed? It's so, I apologize.
I laughed. No, I'm kidding. No, it is serious. It's a serious, real thing and way of life for people. And
so let's take a step back. You get cast in the show. Did you know that you're cast as Sheila the She Wolf, or did you get cast in the show and then they started telling you about this and they were like, "No, it's a real thing. Look into it."
Oh, did I know about species dysmorphia before? Yeah. I didn't. And then I, went down the rabbit hole of people who live with species dysmorphia. And it's intense. Like, if you go on YouTube it, people, there are foxes out there, there are turtles out there. It's intense. And my boyfriend and I actually traveled. What was that noise? That was so crazy. That's part of my whole wolf thing, is my ears just prick up. My boyfriend and I, we were in California doing training for the show, and we decided to go to a wolf sanctuary a couple of hours outside of LA and meet wolves, and it was like one of the more cool experiences of my life.
So did you try to adapt the physicality of a wolf for your character at all? Or were you kind of like, no, like that would be too serious for this and I should...
No, I definitely went all in on it in a way that like was frightening because we're trying to always figure out the tone of the show. It's billed as a comedy, but it's definitely, it's like a dramedy. Like there's drama, there's gravitas, and I'm playing someone that actually believes that this is true, and so I felt like I really owed it to her to.
How often do you find that you're working on the tone of the show or talking about the tone of the show while you're shooting it? Because I would say one of the things that I thought was so impressive about the show is how tonally consistent it is, how much it knows its tone and where the line is.
Yeah, I think it's in the writing and in the editing and in the show running of the show. It's all kind of there for us as actors to kind of pick out. And then we all got the opportunity to really find that in our own characters and be like, I think I can push this button a little bit more. I think I can really, you know, like in episode 4, I don't know if anyone has watched the show, but I don't want to spoil anything, but like there's a revelation about who Sheila is and her life and her struggle. And
is that the episode I would say that's your episode in the sense that each character kind of gets their own episode.
Yeah, like their backstory.
Yeah, and it opens with you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm basically getting ready for my day. I'm becoming Sheila. I'm becoming who I feel like I am inside. And it's I can only take that seriously as an actor, you know? And so it's written that way and I play it that way and it's funny and it's sad and that's what's really great about this show and about the writing is that we can lean into both of those things.
Well, as an audience member, you can as well. You can watch that and you can just laugh at it, or you can recognize that the writers and you as the actress took your time to actually develop a character sincerely, even though there are jokes there.
Yeah, yeah.
So talk about, you know, I'm curious with...
Keep looking at her.
I know this happens when we have character posters up here sometimes. There's multiple characters. Me and the person I'm interviewing end up just going, what about this person? What about this person? What about this person?
It's surreal. I mean, it's surreal to be wearing a fur corset, you know? Like there's ferrets on that corset. The creation of this, Beth Morgan, our costume designer, is like unbelievable. Clearly. But yeah.
So talk to me about like developing your character over the course of the 10 episodes, because one of the things that I thought the show did really well also was clearly these are our 3 leads, right? But everybody else sort of around the show gets not just one episode, but one episode and then a lot of different places, like sort of arcs throughout the whole show. Was that a surprise to you? Did they sort of lay this out for you in the beginning that how they were going to bring about your character more and more?
I first auditioned for a couple of other characters in the show. I'd auditioned for 2 other women.
Can I ask who you auditioned for?
I auditioned, you're gonna laugh. I auditioned for Ruth, hilarious, who ends up being my roommate in the show, which is really cool. And I also auditioned for Reggie, which is Mariana, who is also Scottish, which is really cool.
Speak Scottish to each other on set.
Speak Scottish to each other, just so no one else understands. Just like, yeah. But I did audition for 2 other characters. But when we kind of landed on that I was going to play Sheila, the writers, who I actually have known for a while from the theater community, Liz Flayhive and Carly Mensch, both playwrights. And Carly went to Juilliard, where I went to school. And so I've known them for a while, and so they got in touch with me, and they were like, look, we're so excited. This is what we have in mind for Sheila, and because it kind of helps inform. It's funny doing TV because you get the script the week before you're going to shoot it, but as an actor playing this kind of character, it's important and helpful to have some kind of lead time to be like, wait. Who is this woman? Like, what is she doing and why? And And so
there's such a clear grasp of each character, I think, and you're a perfect example of that in the way that you get brought back in like episode 6 or 7 when they do the sort of the show without cameras and they bring you to play. You suddenly can play the keyboard, but you can only play one song, and it's this dark song, and it so obviously comes from people who know what each character can do and is good at. It's so smart.
Right.
Yeah. When did you guys shoot the show?
We shot it last fall, winter. So from September to December of last year.
And do you guys shoot, is it shot like a movie, or is it more like each couple weeks you're doing a new episode, like they're in the writer's room sort of writing while you guys are shooting?
They had kind of, they're still in the writer's room while we're shooting, and we shoot in order, and we shoot for 8 days an episode, and that's kind of how it goes.
Right now, you have another thing going on as well, right around the corner, right? Mm-hmm.
I walk past here every single day, and I was like, what is going on
Why
in
aren't
there?
I on that? I'm in.
Well, I'm just always
too.
like, no, I didn't know what it was. Truly, I didn't know what it was, unfortunately, and I was kind of like, it was exciting seeing a lot of people outside all the time. But yes, I am working around the corner.
And tell me what you're doing there.
I'm doing Hamlet. It's a new play. It's a new play.
Colorful poster. They're really
super.
Who designed them?
Light comedy. Actually, it's really funny, I think.
I've heard
Did
that.
you see it? Oh, cool. Thank you.
It's the director is like a big theater director right now. Like everybody loves. Sam
Gold.
Sam Gold, right? He does incredible work. I think I saw one of his most recent plays was Dollhouse Part 2, right? Which is unbelievably good.
Really.
What was it like working with him doing Shakespeare?
So great. I love him so much. I've known him for a really long time. We worked together a couple of years ago on a play at Lincoln Center called The Mystery of Love and Sex. And I've known him for a long time, and he called me. He did a production of Othello. I don't know if anyone saw Othello down at New York Theatre Workshop, and we were kind of talking about me potentially being in that, and it didn't really make sense, and I was like a little bummed out about it. He knows this. And then I was in LA, and I was having kind of like a hard time in LA, and he called me and he was like, sorry, everything about Othello didn't work out. Do you want to do Hamlet with Oscar Isaac? And I was like, wait, for real though? Like, is this like an offer? And he was like, yeah. And it's a huge gift. And to work on, I think he understands Shakespeare for being a kind of minimalist, experimental director.
Is he considered experimental?
Yeah, I mean, the New York Times thinks he's experimental, which is fair enough. I think, I think if seeking the truth is experimental, I am all for experimental.
What's not experimental?
What's not experimental?
Yeah, what would be considered? Because I've seen a couple of his plays, and I mean, maybe I just find experimental to be. I wouldn't say that it's normal or standard because that sounds pejorative, but I'm not like, whoa,
yeah,
I'm taking out a place here.
Right. For some people, his aesthetic, visual aesthetic, or the length. Our play is, it's around 4 hours long. Amazing. It's an experience. You really should bring snacks.
You don't serve snacks there?
We don't. There's a bar downstairs, and they have snacks there. But we have 2 intermissions, and it's 4 hours long, and he's really adamant about taking his time and doesn't necessarily want to. It's not that he doesn't want to please people. He gave this amazing speech the other day about that it's okay if people fall asleep. There was a woman in the audience the other night, 5 minutes into the play, like this. 5 minutes, and he was like, you guys, some people have had a big dinner. Some people are just tired. Like, it doesn't mean that they're not, they don't hate you, they're just humans, they're just trying to.
There's also something meditative and dark and silent sometimes about theater. Like one of my favorite plays is that Annie Baker play about the theater that's like 3.5 hours long. And the experience of watching that play was unbelievable.
With the flick?
The flick. But I will admit, 10 minutes in, for whatever reason, I started going down.
So cozy.
Yeah, it was so cozy, and they're just like shuffling around the theater, cleaning, and.
Well, then you wake up from your nap, and you're like, "Whoa, they're still doing this. That's crazy." And amazing. It's like awe, almost. That's how Sam describes it. He described it as the reason he wanted to be a director. He saw this play in France somewhere, and he just had a bowl of pasta, and he was really happy, and had a glass of wine, and he sat down to the play, and he fell asleep for 45 minutes, and he woke up, and it was still happening. And by the end of the play, he was like, that was a revelation. That was the best thing I've ever seen. So sleeping doesn't necessarily mean bad.
So if anybody wants to take an expensive nap in New York City, Hamlet is showing up.
$150 for a nap.
Talk about doing a 4-hour Shakespeare play with Sam at the Public with Oscar Isaac, and we shall say Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele, if people don't know the full name. Did you know that Key was going to be cast in it? Were you expecting it? Because that's a big thing. No one knows him for doing anything like this.
Well, this is the crazy thing. Keegan is actually a trained Shakespeare actor. Everyone's like, wow, what a crazy choice to have Keegan play Horatio. And it's like, Keegan has been training for this for such a long time, and he's truly extraordinary in the play. But yeah, I knew Oscar was going to be playing Hamlet. Sam and Oscar went to school together at Juilliard, and they've been working on this production for like 10 years. Really? It's really moving. Yeah, it's amazing. So I feel so lucky to have joined, and it's become a really like life moment for all of us. Oscar just had a child. We're documenting the process. My boyfriend is like filming me when I come home, and Oscar's wife is like filming him, and we're all just like we're all close, and it's really nice. It's really nice.
What is it about this interpretation or adaptation of Hamlet that sort of makes you guys feel like it's totally different and needs to be documented, and the approach is so different?
We're just documenting it for ourselves, but I think it's important because of the personal relationships that that Sam and Oscar have, and that this play is hard nut to crack, and we have one take on it. Like the thing about Hamlet.
I think that's more what I mean, like
what the take is.
Philosophical or aesthetic take is.
Yeah, I think you can pull a thread in this play, and you can follow all the way to the end. Our production is going to be about madness. Our production is going to be about the incest. Our production is going to be about grief. Our production is about grief and mourning. And I think, and how do we mourn, and how do we move on, and how do we grieve, and what that is. And I don't know if anyone in this room, anyone that we know, really understands what that is. Not to take it there, but I think it's a big subject matter to take on, but I think important to wrestle with.
No, I'm curious what it's like for you as an actress to do something like Hamlet, where it requires a lot of you, nightly doing this show, and then doing something like Glow, which is like, you are wonderful in that show, but a lot of what your work is on that show is sort of brooding and wearing the costume and letting that be the character. There's very few scenes, because of who your character is, where you're required to like go big and kind of show off your chops as an actor.
Right.
Yeah.
And what the question?
What the difference is? How does that feel?
Like what muscle? Right. Yeah, it's just a different muscle. It's a different muscle, and I think there's always an engine, and Sheila, that's helpful almost for Sheila to have that, because then potentially, hopefully, she'll have that chance to really like break out, and we'll see more about who she is.
Is there going to be a second season? Have they already said?
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I really actually don't know.
No, I mean, it literally just came out on Friday. Like, I don't think there's anything.
Netflix is like, hi, we don't know.
Like if Netflix was reading my Twitter this weekend, I think you're gonna get a second season.
Well, thanks.
Question right here.
Hi. I was just wondering, would you prefer doing acting for like Glow, or rather do like night shows like you've been doing for Hamlet? Like, do you prefer one or yeah? Would you prefer one or the other? Yeah. Or both?
I love both. That's what's so fun, I think, about my career. I want to be able to do all of it. I want to be able to do TV, film, theater. It just feeds me in all different ways. It's really great. But yeah, all of it. I don't really have a favorite. I came from theater, so I have like, there's a special place for theater in my heart.
I gotta ask, how was it working with Marc Maron on the show? Because what's so interesting, if you listen to Maron's podcast, which I have over the past few years, you know, he talks about how bad of an actor he thinks he is and how bad on set he is. And look, he's wonderful on the show. As a person who likes his podcast and likes his stand-up, this is maybe my favorite thing he's ever done as a performer.
He is built for this role. He was born to play this role. He's so brilliant.
If it wasn't written for him, I don't know who the hell it was written for.
Who would play this role? He's so brilliant. And he so respectful and was just such a champ, like being with 14 women every day. And he's quiet, you know, and reflective and really takes everything really seriously and his job really seriously. And he's brilliant. Yeah. So much respect.
Next question.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm not sure how much you keep up with the world of professional wrestling, but are there any women wrestlers out there that you would like to compete with, that you could see your character competing with?
Well, there's a wrestler, her name is Gail Kim. Do you know Gail Kim? Yeah. She's so dope, right? Yeah. We got to meet her, bro. She's so... Yeah. She's so awesome. And I would like to, just because we have the same name and she's so awesome, you know?
I think we have time for one more question. Go.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Were you a fan of wrestling prior to getting this role?
I'm not gonna lie. Not really. Like, it just wasn't in my sphere, which was like the coolest part actually about doing it, is like falling in love with wrestling. And who would have thought? It's pretty.
So now you're in love with wrestling?
Oh my God. Well, I want to do it. Like, I don't watch it every night, but I want to do it, which is.
Well, there's a conversation between the two characters in the film, the two main characters, about what wrestling has done for her. Betty Gilpin's character, where she says, you know, it's made me more aware of my body and into my own body, and basically saying that present in the moment, almost like an actor would be.
Yeah, it does feel it's very performative, you know. Wrestling it's got like going on stage. It kind of does merge my two favorite things, is theater and TV, this show. Absolutely. It's really cool.
Gail, it's been a pleasure talking to you. The show is on Netflix right now, and Hamlet is at the Public with you and Oscar Isaac and Keegan-Michael Key. Congratulations. Gayle Rankin, everybody.
So much.
Gail, thank you so much.
Thank you.